Alright, it's finally time. I got the old mass airflow sensor out. New one's sitting right over there. Got to compare them, make sure this is going to fit, and swap them over and see if it works. Alright, so here's the old mass airflow sensor. It's out. I replaced it with a aftermarket one because I cannot find any of these. It seems to be working good. Everything matches on it. I'm going to let the car warm up and see if it fixed all of our problems. So far, it's sounding good. But it always had a good cold start, so it was really just whenever it got warmed up that it started messing up. But I think the engine sounds a little bit healthier, a little bit happier, so that's good. And I will update if it's fixed. Alright, a lot has changed since the last video. It's been a couple weeks. But today, electrical tape, connector, batteries out. Reason is because we have a front mount intercooler kit coming in. It's going to have to come up right here. Now instead of doing a relocate, since I have a small battery already, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can squeeze it right here, which I was able to do, but it didn't clear the hood because the terminal wouldn't sink all the way down, and then I ended up snapping it. So I got a new terminal. So I'm gonna throw this on there, put the battery in, see if it clears the hood, and then the front mount kit should be coming in tomorrow. So that'll be fun to fit. We got an HKS, the SSQ blow-off valve coming in as well. So this thing's gonna get a big refresh. So I'm super excited. And I found our issue with the idling and all of our problems. This is a blacktop J4 ECU, and we have a skinny O2 sensor. We're supposed to have a fat one, so I went ahead and ordered one of those two. Should be coming in sometime this week or next. So yeah, a lot of stuff with this car. It took me a second, but we're finally getting back into it. So yeah, let me hop into this and get all this plugged up. Alright, it is like 1 a.m. I'm out here again. It's raining. It's nighttime. Probably not going to record a ton of this. I'm going to try and take out the OEM intercooler and all the piping. I don't know. Probably not. But I was thinking about taking out the O2 sensor while I was at it, because it does have to come out. We have a new one coming, but I think the intercooler kit's going to be in and running before it gets here. So might wait on taking that out. But for now, I had to re-pull all the silicone off of those. That'll be a problem for whenever I want to put them back on. I gotta find the key. I don't know where the key is for this car, but yeah, that's what I'm up to right now. And the kit's coming tomorrow. I want to make it ready to just bolt straight on and then send it. We have an HKS blow-off valve coming with it, so this thing will be nice. Yeah, I gotta take this thing out. So I'm gonna get to it. It's raining once again, so probably not gonna record. But yeah, y'all seen me take it out before. Alright, I'm calling it a night for tonight. So far we have the old intercooler, all the intercooler piping, the bumper, the washer fluid reservoir tank. It's all out. Everything's out. I left the tube that connects the turbo to the intercooler. I left that in because I made it loose. Didn't want rain getting into the turbo. I don't even know if it'll affect it. I just didn't want it. And the same thing with the throttle plate. I don't want a bunch of water just seeping in there. So I left those two on, but they are loose, where I can literally just rip them off as soon as I'm ready. But yeah, this thing's ready for a new front mount intercooler. Let me show y'all. There it is. It's going to free up the engine bay a good bit. I went ahead and cut these vacuum hoses. Right here is going to tee off to the wastegate, and then right here is going to tee off to the blow-off valve. So we still got everything hooked up, except for those. I'm going to go get some T-fittings and some vacuum hose so we can connect everything. But yeah, we're going to have to cut a hole right there to actually run or route the intercooler piping. It should fit with the battery we have. We did not relocate it. We're going to try and fit it sideways. I have to go get a new battery terminal. Mine broke. So the battery's just chilling over there on the shelf. But it should fit. So yeah, I will cut to whatever happens next. There's really no telling. This video is going to be everywhere. Because we also have the O2 sensor coming in, which I did not take out yet. Because, like I said, I think the intercooler kit's going to be on and done before it gets here. And I want to drop this car as soon as it gets that blow-off valve and the entire intercooler kit. But yeah, I'm out for tonight. It's freezing cold. It's like 28 degrees and it's raining. So, yeah, put in the work tonight. Alright. The long-awaited intercooler kit is here with an HKS blow-off valve somewhere in there. It's already nighttime, and I'm going to have to at least take a trip to Harbor Freight and O'Reilly's at least once for vacuum hoses and a big hole saw to actually cut into the car, into the battery tray. So yeah, I'm going to unbox this and need to get the measurements on the pipe and take my vacuum lines I have sitting over here to O'Reilly's, get some T-fittings, make sure it fits, because it has a air filter, or not really a air filter, but a filter for the blow-off valve. So yeah, I'm going to get to unboxing this. I've been waiting on this for a while. This car is going to be a lot nicer after this, and after the O2 sensor is coming in on Monday, and it is currently Saturday. So yeah, it'll probably be in this video as well. Alright, so if you're unaware, this is what the ISR front mount intercooler kit comes with. Most intercooler kits, including the Greddy, come with only the hot pipe. This one actually comes with the hot and cold side, so that way you get the entire kit for one purchase. And they went ahead and boxed up the HKS SQV blow-off valve for me. Put it in the same box. Got a little sticker, got all of our couplers. It's a lot to do, but I think I'll be able to get it all knocked out in a couple hours. We'll see if I bite my words on that. But yeah, I need to go ahead and pop the hood. Well, not even pop the hood yet. I need to get the blow-off valve out and see if our hose is going to fit. Because I do have a sample of the hose we're going to tee off of to see if it's going to fit or see if we're going to have to get a adapter. So I'm going to get to business because there's a lot of stuff to install. Okay, I took a trip to O'Reilly's and Lowe's. We now have the hole saw to drill out the hole. We have all the vacuum line, all the fittings. And quick note, I saw a lot of talk online about putting this actual HKS blow-off valve on the flange. Everybody's saying it's incredibly difficult. If you have snap ring pliers, this took me 30 seconds. It's super, super simple. Make sure you have flat side towards the flange, and it literally just goes straight on. Super simple. Didn't take long at all. I checked everything in the kit. We have everything we need. Now I just have to get about putting it all on. I'm going to start by mounting the intercooler, which it looks like these tabs are bent, which I've heard is very common, but it's fine. I had to take off the bash bar. Ours has been cut already. It was like this whenever I got to it. Very poor cut too, not even straight. But it'll be fine. Yeah, I gotta pop the hood. I just gotta mount that up. It gave me one bag of hardware. I know this is for getting the intercooler mounted. And I'm pretty sure there's another kit of hardware somewhere in here. I probably should organize this a little bit better. Here it is. Well, this is the exact same stuff as that one. Maybe one's for hatch, one's for coop. I don't know. Just slide them both out and we'll figure that out. Alright, I'm gonna get to work. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all a quick rundown of how I'm routing my vacuum lines in case y'all are curious. It's not the prettiest way, but it's gonna work for now. So this is the HKS T-fitting. I have the line coming to the top of the throttle body, which actually goes into the intake manifold, which means it's getting vacuum and boost. That's going to the blow-off valve. The blow-off valve needs vacuum and boost to work. Now this line, first of all, let me break it down. The new intercooler does not have a pipe right here, which would normally go to a T that goes to the wastegate and the EGR switch. Since it does not have that, the wastegate needs to operate off of a boost signal. So to get this boost signal, I teed it off of this and had to put an adapter right here. So this is getting boost because it goes from the EGR valve to the bottom of the throttle body. Yeah, y'all cannot see in there. I'll try and show y'all anyways though. Yeah, that goes to the bottom of the throttle body, which is on this side of the throttle plate, which means it's only receiving boost. The wastegate does not need vacuum to the best of my knowledge. Neither does the EGR switch. So that should work pretty well. Now I'm going to go about mounting this. We can worry about this line whenever we get the blow-off valve and everything else on. And this is the vacuum hose I'm using. It says to use 4mm to 6 or 6mm. I found this one O'Reilly's 3.5mm to 5. Should be close enough. I'm gonna put some zip ties on it to hold it on tight. But this should work. So now I get to do the fun part, which is installing that, the intercooler. So I'm pretty sure I know how it fits up. I don't know which hardware goes where, but it shouldn't be too complicated to figure out. I do believe it starts with a bolt hole on the latch, so I'll have to figure all this out. Yeah, I'm not sure which one though. So this will take a second, but that's part of the process. So yeah, I'm gonna get to work. Alright, so we got the intercooler mounted up. Took a second because my horns, whatever aftermarket ones somebody else put on it, did not make, like, it wouldn't fit. I was able to reroute this one a little bit. That one is just gonna stay there. But yeah, the intercooler's on. Now I need to take off the rest of this piping that I left because it was gonna rain, and then route the piping down, and then route it up the other side, cut the hole, and then route it to the throttle body. It should be pretty simple from here on out. But usually when I say that, that's whenever it throws a curveball at me. So I'm not going to record a lot of this because it's freezing cold outside and it's getting really late. But yeah, let's see what I can do. Okay, little update. I'm going to warn you guys, do not buy the ISR kit. I had to learn this the hard way. It kinda sucks. The hardware is not correct. I've had to use like my own bolts for everything. They shorted me a hose clamp, and the hose that they give you for the pipe that comes straight out of the turbo does not fit. Might look like it fit, but that's just because I use the OEM hose. And basically it's OEM hose and the ISR hose right on top of it. It sucks. It's in, but it sucks. I'm gonna have to get a coupler for that. I don't just keep couplers on standby though. And I also don't keep a ton of hardware. I'm lucky that I found all the bolts to fit that. Yeah, it's been miserable, honestly. I do not recommend this kit. It's gonna work and it's gonna look nice, but it's just a pain when it doesn't have to be. They can just supply the right hardware and they can supply the correct coupler for your turbo. Because this is the S13. All S13s come with the T25, which has the exact same output. So there's no reason that it should be that way, but it is. Other than that, I still have to route this and figure out where the hole is going to be, and then put my battery back in and hope that it fits up there. I still have a lot of work to do, so I'm going to continue not recording, trying to fit all this in. It's going to look nice, but it's been a pain. But yeah, I still got to put this on and then start on the other side. Basically put the 90 and then try and figure out where that hole needs to be and then drill it. So I'm gonna get to work. Okay, it's actually the next nighttime again. The ISR kit works, blow-off valve works. So far as I'm aware, everything works. We're gonna get some shims for our battery terminals, because since we have a Japanese battery, they use different posts where the negative is actually smaller than the positive. And our O2 sensor came in. Now here's the problem I'm at right now, is that we have to be able to get all the way, you can't even really see it. There you go. All the way down there. And I don't know the best way to do it. I took off the strut bar. I'm gonna try and fit a wrench down there. And the problem is that even after I get the O2 sensor out, I have to get the adapter that's on it out as well. Yeah, at least all this works. Replace O2 sensor and get the shims on. See if we can mount the bash bar and put the front bumper back on. I'll worry about the turn signals later. I just want to get this thing back on the road. Miss driving it. It should drive a lot better after we do this O2 sensor as well. So I'm going to try and see what I can do, and I'll let you all know what works. Update. We got the O2 sensor out, as well as the adapter. But, you know, it would make sense that because the SR20 from like 96 back used the skinnier O2 sensors, which has a M12, and the ones after that use a M18. We had to go get a bung because this adapter, you would think that it would be an M18 on the other side, so you can unscrew this adapter and then just screw an M18 into the car. It's not like that though. So what I'm going to attempt to do is drill this out a little bit to where we can weld our M18 bung onto this, and then hopefully the O2 sensor will sit far enough in to actually collect all that it needs to and work properly. If it doesn't, we're just going to have to get a new turbo downpipe. It's not going to be fun though, so I'm going to have to clean off all of this because I haven't welded in a little bit. Clean this up and then weld onto it after I drill it through. Yeah, this has not been fun, and I really was just going to drive the car around a little bit before the O2 sensor came in, but it came in early, so now I have to do all of this at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning all this up. Alright, it's another day. I cannot remember what I updated y'all on and what I did not. Let me get this hood back up. I think I left off telling y'all, I can barely walk in my garage right now. I think I left off telling y'all that I was going to weld this on here. Well, I tried to test fit the new O2 sensor, and it's not going to reach him far enough, even if I did drill it all the way through. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take out the turbo outlet pipe. Let's take a look at that. It's pretty deep down in here. It's looking great. I keep on forgetting that I have this whole new piping set and everything. Looks fabulous. Hated putting it on, but it looks fabulous, and it's causing switch issues. I'm going to turn the flashlight on here. It's a little bit foggy, but at least y'all can see. It's right down here. So I think it should be 5 bolts holding it to the turbo and then 3 holding it to the exhaust. I do have new gaskets coming. Might reuse the old ones if they're good enough. I've seen where you can. I know it's not the best thing to do, but honestly, I'm ready for my car to work again. I'm tired of waiting on parts. We still have to do the bash bar. We still have to do the battery. It didn't clearance the hood, and the new shims I got for it made it too big. Way bigger, so that's not going to work either. I did order some actual shims made for Japanese batteries, so that's coming in as well. I thought this install would take like a day, a few hours, but no, it's a lot more than I thought. But we're going to get it done, and that's all that matters. So I'm going to go ahead and start taking off these bolts, or at least attempting to, seeing if I pull out studs. I know I'm missing like 1 bolt, and then also I think one of the studs are broke. I'm going to have to take a look at it, figure out what to do. But as long as it's holding air, that's good for now. See, I'm going to get to work. Alright, exactly 1 hour later. We got it out. Here it is. This is what's caused all the problems. Okay, well, that's a bolt. This is supposed to go right here. That one broke. Somehow they're using studs. I don't know. And well, I probably won't be able to see. Let me place this bolt with the other ones before I forget. So I can definitely thread this on there. It was, keep in mind, it's supposed to be 5 studs on the turbo. So 5 nuts, 5 studs to connect this to the turbo. Whoever did this last is an idiot. they put, there was 2 bolts holding this on. There's 2 studs that have nothing, and the rest are just empty holes. So it's not leaking that I'm aware of. Probably is. I'm not worried about it right now. So now we can actually take a look at our problem with our O2 sensor. That's the problem, is it don't fit. But luckily enough, I have a bung, I have a welder, and I have a grinder. So I'm gonna grind this up, throw this in here, and it literally fits pretty much perfect. Barely any wiggle room. So let's lay a nice bead around it. Should be good enough for the O2 sensor to get in there. And then reinstall it right back again. So that'll be fun. Yeah, that's the plan. Got this from O'Reilly's. I don't know the part number. I might put it on the screen if I remember. Sorry I haven't really recorded a lot of me working. This has been over a few days and it's been extremely frustrating, so I'm sure y'all can understand. And we're tackling like 5 things at once. So I found one of the bolts for the bash bar. I need to really just keep up with stuff better, and I wouldn't have that kind of problem. I need to find the other one. I know it's laying around here somewhere. Once I find that, I can throw the bash bar back on, followed by the bumper. And that'll be another thing knocked off our list. So, here, I'll break it down. We have the O2 sensor issue. All that, we'll call that problem 1. Problem 2 is going to be the bash bar. Problem 3 is going to be the bumper with the lights. Problem 4 is going to be this clearance for this pipe. It's scraping. And we'll just throw this pipe in there as well because it's pretty close, but it is touching the actual. We actually have a good bit of play here. You can hear it touching. I think that's problem 4. I can't remember. Problem 5 is going to be the battery, with the terminals and everything. Should be it though, because the turbo fits on. The entire intercooler kit is on. Problem 6 is going to be the, what's the word? Connector that's connecting the connector to the turbo. That's not how you're supposed to run that at all. But I've done good tonight. Wasn't even going to work on the car tonight. I decided to come out here, give it my best shot. And that's usually whenever stuff starts to make progress, is when you don't want to do it, but you do it anyways. So, I'm going to, well, I can't. I did have to unbolt this, the actual ABS module. So it's just dangling. I'm going to put it at least back where it goes. Let's see. Yeah, I'll do that off camera. And put it back where it goes. I'll leave the nuts off because I'm going to have to be able to reach in there. And there's really no way to get to it other than unbolting that, and you have enough for like one tooth to catch on your ratchet. It's an absolute pain, but it's doable. And yeah, I'll be out here in the morning. It's another nighttime. See, I'll see y'all. Alright, we've made some progress. The bung is welded horribly, but it's going to hold it. It's not going to leak air. I made sure of that. Fat O2 sensor's on. So that just has to go back in the car. Up here, I cut a bigger hole, angle grinder, just shing shing. And then I used a flap disc to smoothen the edges. And right now, getting the electrical tape out, we're going to line it in electrical tape to hopefully stop any scrubbing if we hit bumps and stuff. That should help out a lot. And then after that, all we have to do is battery and bash bar. So I mean, we're getting close to where this thing can crank and run and be happy again. Throttle body's not too dirty. It's a little bit dirty, but not too dirty. Made a lot of progress today, and it's only been like an hour. So I'm very pleased. Getting that in, it's gonna take me a second. But it'll be fun. And then after that's in, technically I could just hook up the battery and crank it and then see how it runs while I'm figuring out the bash bar. we do have to figure out the battery, with this shim being too big. Not 100% sure, but hey, I might have to go get a new battery terminal or something, who knows. So yeah, I'm gonna electrical tape this and keep going, keep working. Alright, it's the next update time. Got the bash bar on. It clearances all the way around. I did not have to cut it. Previous owner cut it. It is kind of close down there, but since it's all bolted up, it's not going to move. Like right there. Gets kind of close. But since it's all bolted up, it's not going to move much. So I don't think it'll ever touch. The outlet is installed, and I actually used some new hardware on some of the bolts to make it fit better. The O2 sensor's in and plugged up. It's got the new fat sensor instead of the skinny one. Now the only thing we have left to do is throw the bumper on, put the battery in, and figure out our shim problem, obviously, but we did also cut this a little bit. I think I mentioned that in the last one. It's not touching anymore, but even if it does, it's got electrical tape, so it should be good. This thing's looking more and more complete. Super excited to get the bumper on and get this thing running again. I'm dying to drive it. Before we put the bumper on, I'm gonna go ahead and lower it off the jacks because this car is so low and the bumper makes it so long. It's hard to reach the subframe where I need to actually mount it, or not mount it, but jack it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it down. And then I'm gonna throw the battery in it and crank it because I just want it to run, and then I'll figure out the bumper. So yeah, I'll give you all the next update whenever it gets running. Okay, O2 sensor's in, everything's on. We got a little exhaust leak, but this thing sounds amazing and it's running great. We're getting about 9 PSI. Before we were getting 8, but I heard that that's normal. We had to reroute the wastegate line. It was actually on the wrong one, causing it not to limit boost. I tried to record this video and we got about 14 PSI before I cut the video off and kind of freaked out for a second. But yeah, we're good now. This car is running amazing. Sounds great. Blow-off valve sounds awesome. Super stoked with how this has all went. The exhaust leak, we're going to fix that. But at least the car is on the road. It's got a little, like the smallest amount of smoke coming out of the outlet. Sounds beautiful. Well, I'm gonna head home. I have a lot of stuff I need to do today. This was just one of them, and we got this one knocked out pretty quick. Other than the exhaust leak, this has all went pretty smooth, other than obviously fitting everything for the actual intercooler piping and everything. But yeah, I'm super stoked with how it turned out. It looks great with the bumper on and everything. I don't know how well the video can pick it up, but it sounds cool. But yeah, I'm gonna probably end this here, and then I will upload this, and I don't really know what's next for this car. We're gonna have to figure that out as we go. But yeah, see you later.